It's probably the lapsed Catholic in me, but I like to start a review with a confession. So here we go. I fucking hate puzzle games. They're just not for me. If a solution isn't reasonably obvious or can't be solved in 5 minutes, I'm out. I'll be on game FAQs scrolling away like the opening titles of a Star Wars film. When you're pushed for time, and I'm always pushed for time, trial and error becomes tried and traded in. So after all that, you might be wondering why I decided to review AI the Somnium Files, written and directed by the well-known puzzler Kitaro Uchikoshi. After the surprisingly great Fire Emblem Three Houses, I figured that lightning might strike me twice. And it has. Mostly. AI the Somnium Files is an adventure game set in the near future and follows Kaname Date and his pals as they investigate a string of murders that link to mysterious events 6 years before the game begins. Date is joined in his quest by his partner Aiba, an AI that lives in his prosthetic left eye, and she acts as your assistant, your binoculars, your mobile phone, and so much more. It's a good thing that Aiba is such an interesting character, because to begin with, Date can wear a bit thin.
Try just the tip.
There's a lot of jokes about his addiction to porn and his various predilections. Instead of being funny, it comes off as pretty annoying. Later in the game, as the story develops, a genuine affection does begin to form, but if you're like me, you'll be rolling your eyes a fair amount.
Whoa! Porno mag!
Primarily the game will have you going to different locations, looking for clues and interviewing witnesses and potential suspects while you try and solve what might be the work of a copycat serial killer. A lot of these sections can be quite similar, although later in the game there can be quite a lot of action. While some people will be open with you, many will force you to use the number one tool in any police officer's bag of tricks, a machine that lets you enter the dreams of others. That's right, you take a trip to the Somnium, or the dreams of characters in the game, to sort the fact from the fiction, the liars from the triers, the dopes from the popes. Honestly, until I got into Somnium for the first time, I was pretty on the fence about this game. It was interesting, but the visual novel aspects of the game didn't really grab me. But as soon as I wandered into someone's head, I was totally sold. When you first load up a dream, you take direct control of a humanoid Aiba who will interact with elements of the dream in order to open up mental locks. These mental locks, usually between 3 and 5 per Somnium, are little puzzles that can either have incredibly literal solutions, there are loads that just involve bashing various inanimate objects, or you'll need to play around a little with your options. Again, referring back to my time with the latest Fire Emblem, the beauty behind this game is how accessible it is. It can still be frustrating, but the puzzles are so well defined by the internal logic of the game world that the solution is never too outlandish. I'm pretty sure that my forehead has a perfect imprint of my hand from all the slapping it got when an obvious answer was the actual solution. In a neat wee twist, you can only spend 6 minutes syncing with other characters, as any more than that can cause irreparable damage to your psyche, and each action Aiba takes, whether it's opening a door or kicking a standard lamp, uses up a chunk of that time. Some options will unlock multipliers called timies, which will either reduce the time of each action or increase it, adding a wee bit of strategy alongside finding the right answer. By the time I was getting close to one of the many endings in the game, I was plotting out Aiba's actions to include ones that I knew were wrong but would reduce the overall time penalty. During some of the dreams there can be more than one solution, and depending on which you choose, the story will then go in a completely different direction. Some will lead to the good ending, while others will take you down a far darker path. The only way to get the full picture does involve a little repetition, but the outcomes are also varied and interesting that it really is a very short-term pain. While there might be a temptation to give up once you see a couple of the endings, the best one is pretty much blocked until all the other options have been exhausted, which should take anywhere between 20 and 25 hours. Overall, I had a great time playing AI the Somnium Files, with a few little caveats. All the pervy jokes didn't really sit well with me, and some of the character designs are pretty rotten. In a game that has so much quality, all this stuff does is reinforce the idea that Japanese games are pervert simulators. And while people like Joe love them, I think they can be alienating for many others.
Your heart rate and blood pressure is rising.
I'm not going to say that I'm fully converted to the genre, but sometimes all you're waiting for is the right game to come along at a time when you're receptive to something new. I'd recommend AI the Somnium Files to both fans of puzzle games and to those who are a little wary of the genre, as long as you have a reasonable tolerance for perverts, big silly breasts, and weird eye stuff.